Imagine sitting down to check your bank account, your heart racing as you brace for the number on the screen. It's lower than you'd hoped, and a familiar wave of anxiety washes over you. How will you cover bills, save for the future, or afford that one thing you've been dreaming of? Your mind drifts to the endless stream of expenses: coffee runs, impulse buys, subscriptions you barely use, and the constant pressure to keep up with trends or social expectations. You feel trapped, not just by money, but by a life cluttered with things and habits that drain your wallet and your spirit. You're not alone. In our consumer-driven world, financial stress is a heavy burden, leaving so many of us feeling overwhelmed, disconnected, and stuck in a cycle of spending and scarcity. But what if you could save 70% of your income, not by earning more, but by living differently? The Japanese minimalist way offers a transformative path, rooted in philosophies like motainai, minimalism, danshari, and kaizen, to help you save dramatically while creating a life that's richer in meaning, purpose, and joy. This isn't about deprivation or extreme frugality. It's about intentional living, valuing what you have, and finding abundance in simplicity. Let's explore how these principles can help you declutter your finances, your home, and your mind, empowering you to save 70% of your income and start living a life that feels truly free. The Japanese minimalist approach to saving is a philosophy that redefines wealth, focusing not on how much you earn, but on how much you keep and how you live. At its core is motainai, a term that expresses regret for waste and deep respect for resources. Born from Japan's history of scarcity, motainai urges you to use everything fully: food, clothes, money, avoiding waste and maximizing value. Minimalism complements this by prioritizing quality over quantity, encouraging you to own and spend on only what serves a purpose or sparks joy. Danshari, with its principles of refusing, discarding, and separating, helps you let go of unnecessary expenses and emotional attachments to material things. Kaizen, the art of small, continuous improvements, ensures you build sustainable, saving habits without feeling overwhelmed. Wabi-Sabi, the embrace of imperfection, reminds you that a rich life doesn't need to be perfect or extravagant. It's found in simple, meaningful moments. Together, these philosophies form a holistic approach to financial freedom that sees saving not as sacrifice, but as empowerment. In a world that pushes you to spend, consume, and compare, this approach is a quiet revolution asking, what if wealth is having enough? What if saving 70% of your income creates space for a life of clarity, purpose, and joy? Let's ground this in your reality. You're likely no stranger to financial anxiety. Maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck, stretching every dollar to cover essentials while feeling guilty for small indulgences like dining out. Perhaps you're tempted by sales or social media ads, buying things you don't need to chase a fleeting sense of happiness, only to face regret when the bills arrive. Your home might be cluttered with impulse purchases, cheap clothes that tear, gadgets you rarely use, draining your budget on replacements or storage. Your mind is cluttered too, with worries about debt, pressure to keep up with others' lifestyles, and a sense that financial freedom is out of reach. Social media amplifies this, showcasing lavish vacations and must-have products, feeding a cycle of want and scarcity. This clutter, financial, physical, mental, leaves you feeling trapped, overwhelmed, and disconnected from what truly matters. The Japanese minimalist way offers a path to freedom, not by increasing your income, but by simplifying your life, curating your spending, and finding abundance in what you already have. What does saving 70% of your income look like in practice? It's about making intentional choices that align with your values, maximize resources, and minimize waste, all while enhancing your quality of life. In your home, minimalism means owning fewer, better things, a small wardrobe of durable, versatile clothes, a kitchen with a few quality tools, reducing expenses on replacements and upkeep. Matane guides you to stretch resources, repurpose leftovers into new meals, mend torn clothes, or use library resources instead of buying books. Danshari helps you refuse unnecessary purchases, like trendy gadgets you don't need, discard subscriptions you rarely use, and separate emotionally from the pressure to keep up with others. Kaizen encourages small, daily saving habits, like brewing coffee at home or walking instead of driving, that add up to significant savings. Wabi-Sabi invites you to find joy in simple, imperfect pleasures. A homemade dinner, a secondhand book, a walk in nature, proving that richness doesn't require spending. The result is a budget that works for you, a home that feels calm, and a life that feels abundant, allowing you to save 70% of your income without feeling deprived. The benefits of this approach are transformative, touching every facet of your life. Financially, curating your spending and refusing excess can realistically help you save 70% of your income, depending on your circumstances, by slashing non-essential expenses like dining out, subscriptions, and impulse buys. This builds savings, reduces debt, and creates a safety net, easing financial anxiety. Physically, a decluttered home is easier to maintain, fewer things to clean, repair, or replace, creating a sanctuary that soothes rather than stresses. Mentally, simplicity reduces overwhelm. Studies show that a clutter-free environment and fewer financial worries lower cortisol levels, improving focus and decision-making. Emotionally, this approach fosters gratitude and contentment. When you cherish what you have, a patched quilt, a simple meal, you find joy in the present, not in what you lack. Spiritually, it aligns with Ikigai, helping you invest time and money in what brings purpose, creativity, relationships, rest, without the burden of material excess. Environmentally, living with less supports sustainability by reducing waste and consumption, honoring the Earth's resources. These benefits weave together, creating a life that's financially secure, emotionally rich, and deeply fulfilling. Contrast this with the habits many of us fall into. Consumerism drives us to spend beyond our means, chasing happiness through things, a new phone, a trendy outfit, only to find the thrill fades, leaving debt and clutter. You might buy cheap items to save money, but they break quickly, costing more in replacements. You might fill your home with stuff to feel secure, only to feel overwhelmed by the mess and maintenance. Social media fuels this cycle, showcasing lives that seem perfect, urging you to spend to keep up. Your budget stretches thin, your mind fills with stress, and your heart aches for something deeper. The irony is that the more you spend, the less free you feel, as possessions and debt demand your time, energy, and income. The Japanese minimalist way flips this script. It's not about deprivation, but discernment, choosing what adds value, refusing what doesn't, and finding abundance in simplicity. Let's paint a picture of this in your life. Imagine starting your day with a homemade breakfast, cooked with a few quality tools in a clutter-free kitchen. The savings from skipping takeout adding up quietly. You wear a small wardrobe of durable, versatile clothes, each piece chosen with care, freeing you from the stress of trend chasing. Your budget is lean but intentional. You've canceled unused subscriptions, shopped secondhand, and repurposed leftovers into creative meals, feeling proud of your resourcefulness, guided by Motainai. Your home is uncluttered, with empty spaces that invite calm, thanks to Ma, and a few imperfect treasures, a hand-me-down chair, a chipped mug that sparked joy, inspired by Wabi-Sabi. You've refused costly social outings, hosting a potluck instead, deepening connections without spending, aligned with Danshari. Your evenings are spent on free pleasures, a library book, a walk, filling your heart without emptying your wallet. Each day, you make one small Kaizen tweak, like biking to work, watching your savings grow to 70% of your income. Your mind is clear, unburdened by financial stress or comparison, focused on what matters: purpose, connection, joy. To bring this approach into your life, start with these practical steps, rooted in Japanese wisdom. First, practice Motainai by maximizing resources. Take inventory of your pantry. Use up staples before buying more. Turn leftovers into soups or stir-fries, and mend torn clothes with simple stitches. This saves money and fosters gratitude. Second, embrace minimalism by decluttering one area. Your wardrobe, for instance. Keep only what fits and feels like you, donating the rest with thanks, inspired by Danshari. Third, prioritize quality over quantity. Next time you need something, like a winter coat, save for one durable, timeless piece instead of multiple cheap ones, aligning with Motainai. Fourth, practice Danshari by refusing unnecessary expenses. Review your budget and cut one non-essential, like a streaming service you rarely use, redirecting funds to savings. Fifth, use Kaizen to build saving habits daily. Skip one takeout meal, walk instead of driving, cancel one subscription, watching savings grow without feeling deprived. Sixth, embrace Wabi-Sabi by finding joy in simple, imperfect pleasures. Keep a secondhand book or a patched blanket. Savor a homemade meal or enjoy a free walk. Proving richness doesn't require spending. Seventh, simplify your social life to save money and energy. Instead of pricey outings, host a game night or meet friends for a picnic, fostering connection without cost, guided by minimalism. Eighth, Cultivate gratitude daily. Inspired by Wabi-Sabi. Each morning, note 3 things you're thankful for: a warm bed, a kind neighbor, a sunny day, shifting your focus from scarcity to abundance. 9th, create a no-spend day weekly, using only what you have. Cook from your pantry. Enjoy free hobbies like journaling, reinforcing Matanai's resourcefulness. 10th, align spending with Ikigai by investing in what brings purpose. If learning sparks joy, save for a quality course instead of scattering your budget on fleeting purchases. These steps, intentional and accessible, help you save 70% of your income while building a life that's rich in meaning, not money. Challenges will arise, and that's okay. You might feel deprived when refusing purchases or social outings. Start small. Skip one small expense, like a coffee, and savor a free alternative, like tea at home. Social pressure to spend or keep up can be strong. Communicate your values kindly. I'm focusing on simplicity to feel freer, and suggest low-cost ways to connect, like a park meetup. Limited income can make quality purchases or saving 70% feel daunting. Focus on free wins, library resources, secondhand finds, repairing what you own, and aim for a percentage that feels achievable, even if it's 50% at first. Time scarcity might make these habits feel overwhelming. Use Kaizen's micro actions, 1 minute of budgeting, 1 item repurposed, to fit them into busy days. If comparison creeps in, curate your social media to include voices that inspire simplicity, not excess. Be patient. Saving is a journey, and every intentional choice is a step toward financial freedom. These principles weave beautifully with other Japanese philosophies. Wabi-Sabi fosters gratitude for what's imperfect, easing the pressure to spend on flawless things. Matanai encourages resourcefulness, saving money, and reducing waste. Danshari empowers you to let go of financial guilt or societal expectations, freeing your heart and budget. Ikigai aligns your spending with purpose, prioritizing what brings joy. Kaizen ensures lasting change through small, consistent actions. Together, they create a holistic approach to living, one that values simplicity, presence, and meaning over material wealth. Let's deepen this with more practices. Try a Matanai challenge. For 1 week, use only what's in your home. Cook from your pantry. Wear existing clothes. Enjoy free hobbies, noting how much you save. Another practice is a budget joy journal. Each evening, write down 1 way you saved money, a homemade lunch, a mended shirt, and how it made you feel, reinforcing abundance. To cultivate Danshari, do a spending audit. List your last 10 purchases and mark which ones truly added value, refusing similar low-value buys going forward. For Wabi-Sabi, create a memory shelf with a few imperfect items, a cracked bowl, a faded photo that tell your story, reminding you that richness lies in meaning. For Kaizen, set a daily saving minute to review one expense and find a cheaper alternative, like swapping a paid app for a free one. These exercises, flexible and personal, make saving a sustainable part of your life. Let's also explore how this approach transforms your relationships. Financial stress can strain connections, making you distant or resentful. By saving intentionally, you free up emotional energy for presents. Imagine hosting a friend for a homemade meal in a decluttered kitchen. The simplicity fostering intimacy, thanks to Ma. Or prioritizing a free park walk with family over a costly outing. Deepening bonds, guided by Ikigai. Refusing expensive social expectations, inspired by Danshari, lets you choose authentic connections. Gratitude, rooted in Wabi-Sabi, helps you appreciate imperfect relationships, loving people for their quirks. By saving 70% of your income, you create space for vulnerability, laughter, and love, enriching your life and others. Let's ground this in a story. Meet Riku, a 31-year-old graphic designer struggling financially. His small apartment was cluttered with cheap buys, his budget drained by subscriptions and dining out, and his heart heavy with stress. One day, a coworker shared an article on Japanese minimalism, introducing Riku to Motainai and Danshari. He started small, decluttering his wardrobe and keeping only versatile, durable clothes, donating the rest. He practiced Motainai, cooking from pantry staples and mending torn socks, saving $50 a month. He canceled unused subscriptions, refused trendy purchases, and hosted potlucks instead of bar nights, aligning with Danshari. He embraced Wabi-Sabi, cherishing a chipped mug from his mom, and used Kaizen, making one small saving tweak daily, like biking to work. He practiced gratitude, noting 3 things daily: a quiet evening, a kind client, a sunny walk, that made him feel rich. Over time, Riku saved 70% of his income. His home became a haven, and his heart felt full. Minimalism didn't increase his income, but it transformed his life, making him rich in joy and purpose. As you embrace this approach, envision the life you're building. A home where every item serves you or sparks joy, where simplicity invites peace. A budget that fuels your dreams, with 70% saved for freedom and security. A heart free of stress, filled with gratitude for the present. The Japanese minimalist way isn't about having more money. It's about needing less, valuing more, and living richly with what you have. It's a rebellion against consumerism's empty promises, a reclaiming of your finances, your time, your soul. You don't need a bigger paycheck, a flashier life, or a perfect budget. You need only to embrace simplicity and let abundance flow. So, begin today. Right now, choose one practice. Repurpose a meal, refuse an expense, name a gratitude, and take one step. Carry this question forward. What can I simplify to save more today? Ask it when you spend, plan, or reflect. Trust that each intentional choice is a step toward freedom, a brick in the foundation of a life that's rich in meaning, not money. You're not just saving, you're crafting a life of peace, purpose, and joy. Welcome to the Japanese minimalist way. Minimalist way. Minimalist way.